This show is all about the events that occurred to date in years past, both recognized by other historians, but mainly things we personally find intriguing enough for us to bring to you. The sources of this information come from the Smart Device application, Today in History, What Happened Today in History, Historical Calendar, and the website onthisday.com. For links to those sources, the music, and anything else potentially interesting, check the underbar in the description below. Anyway, I am Xander, and you are you. We will be joined by the Golden Moon at some point soon. 4 days in a row. That's a new record right there. Anyway, today is Moon's Day, aka Monday, April 3rd, 2023. Oh, look at that, 4323. Huh, that's pretty interesting. Anyway, we're going to start us off here, and I'm going to be trying something a little bit old, a little bit new. We've tried this before, but as far as handling it with other people, I have a plan. So, Arthur, I have a plan. I just need money. So, anyway, we're going to start in 419. Italius ended his reign as Catholic Pope. All right. We also have in 686 Maya King Yuknun Yitzhak Kikak assumed the crown of Calcamul. Ah, okay. 801 King Louis the Pious captured Barcelona from the Moors after a siege of several months. Huh. We also have in 1043 Edward the Confessor was crowned King of England. Alright. And let's see here. You know what? I'm gonna... Let's see. What was that? 1043? Alright, so... Was it? Alright, so... Alright. We also have in 1077 the Patriarchy of Friuli, the first Friulian state, was created. Okay. 1043 Edward the Confessor was crowned King of England. Okay, we already have that there. Okay. So I'm actually, hold on a second. I put that in the wrong spot. So there we go. Alright. And we have just been joined by...
The Golden Moon.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yep.
Where are we at?
We're in 1312, the Second Council of Vienna, Knights Templar suppressed. Ooh. So Second Council of Vienna. So let's look that up here real quick. Pardon me. In the second council, or in the second session of the council, which took place on April 3rd, 1312, this bull was approved and the Pope announced a future crusade. The Templars' property of immense value was entrusted to other persons by the bulls ad providem of 2nd May in Nupir in Concilio of 16th May. So they basically gave away their stuff to other people under the guise of in their care.
Yeah, while they're out warring.
Yeah. We're going to move on up to 1367, Battle of Navarrete, Nigeria, La Roya, Castile, an alliance of King Peter of Castile, England, Aquitaine, Majorca, and Navarra defeated Count Henry of Castile. All right. That happened in 1367, so add that in there real quick. Then we're going to move on up into 1559. The second of two treaties making up the Peace of Chateau-Cambrésis was signed, ending the Italian Wars.
Okay.
Yep. And moving on up to 1645, English Long Parliament passed the Self-Denying Ordinance, limiting regional armies, significant step toward new model army. So what is a new model army? Let's look that up here real quick. New model army. What is new model army? There we go. Okay. The new model army was a standing army formed in 1645 by the parliamentarians during the First English Civil War, then disbanded after the Stuart Restoration in 1660. So it was a temporary army to fight civil unrest and such. All right. 1679, Edmund Halley met fellow astronomer Johannes Hevesius in Danzig.
Is he Halley's Comet?
Edmund Halley, I believe so. Astronomer, yeah. Yep. He mainly rests on his discovery of the orbit of Halley's Comet. There you go. Right there. So he met with fellow astronomer Johannes Hevesius in Danzig. Okay. We also have in 1559, well, we already got that here. 1721, Robert Walpole became Britain's first Lord of the Treasury, effective Prime Minister, although that term was never officially used. Indeed, it was considered an insult until much later. Huh. and he became in effect the first Prime Minister of Great Britain, though he himself denied that title. So that's why, because it was insulting.
Funny how terms change and the meanings for the time.
Yeah. So let me add that in here real quick. Doing some live editing to the script and whatnot. So, anyway, 1776, George Washington received an honorary Doctor of Laws, an LLD degree from Harvard College. Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1783, Sweden and U.S. signed a treaty of amity in commerce. So, doing trade,
Yes.
with the
Yeah.
Swedes and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah.
We need to get that Swiss cheese. 1848, Thomas Douglas became the first public teacher in San Francisco. All right. That's pretty cool.
First public teacher.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah. While that was happening at the same time, 1848, U.S. education reformer Horace Mann joined the U.S. Senate, representing Massachusetts. Not repressing.
Repressing wouldn't be good.
No, it would not. No.
Especially while he's representing him.
Yeah. We also have in 1848 as well, German explorer Ludwig Reinhardt was seen for the last time at McPherson Station Kugun, before he disappeared on the same expedition to reach the Swan River in Australia. Huh. Alright. We also have in 1856, Palace of the Grand Master of the Knights of Rhodes, badly damaged by gunpowder explosion, killing 4,000 on island of Rhodes.
Whoa.
Wow. Well,
4,000.
Yeah, like military personnel must have been staff and everything.
Yeah.
Those usually are very populated. That's Palace of the Grand Master of the Knights of Rhodes. So, wow, it was a like not Teutonic, but what's the word? Chivalry, chivalric, type of organization. Religious in nature.
Okay.
So, but military still. Anyway, 1860, we have the start of the Pony Express, delivered mail by horse and rider relay teams between St. Joseph, Missouri, and Sacramento, California. So,
could you imagine trying to ride that? Whatever your position is on that trail. I wonder how many it took to get across the country. Not just horses, but how many riders. I mean, one rider didn't do the whole thing. He had a stint.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure because I just saw something on how the ancient Roman armies and such communicated the ancient communicate between the vast distances.
Yeah.
Because Rome was big.
Yeah.
They had one option where they just had one rider just go, and that took 4 weeks or so. They had another option where it could be a relay.
Yeah.
So he goes up and he passes it off, and then that reduces it to 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So
cut it in half. Then.
Yeah, but I wonder if the Pony Express, which one of those two they used, if not both.
Oh, it had to be a whole team of riders.
Oh yeah.
Someone's not going to go clear across the country.
Well, I mean, did a Pony Express rider go fully across the country? All right, well, here's 10 things you may not know about the Pony Express. It's more than twice as fast as its competitors. It was a financial flop. There was a weight limit for Pony Express, of course. Riders were required to take a loyalty oath. Mail was carried in a specifically designed saddlebag. Okay, ordinary people almost never use the Pony Express. One rider completed a 380-mile run in less than 2 days. Wow.
Whoa, so
Whoa.
one rider did do it.
Well,
No,
across the country is 3,000 miles.
Yeah, okay.
So, riders didn't have the deadliest job on the Pony Express. Buffalo Bill Cody probably wasn't a Pony Express rider, and the Transcontinental Telegraph dealt the Pony Express its death blow. That's right. Between the telegraph and the rail, the Pony Express didn't last, really that long. Actually, how long did the Pony Express last? 18 months.
Oh man.
Yeah, no, it wasn't around for that long.
Sure is famous for 18 months.
I know. That signifies how crucial it was.
Yeah.
So even in that short amount of time, it made that much of an impact. So,
Although it was a financial flop, so
well, it was not made for money. Something like that would not be made today because everything has to turn a profit, no matter what. Like,
well, it only lasted 18 months. It could have been nothing more than financial too.
yeah.
Did them under.
Well, that and it was faster and cheaper with the telegraph and with rail once they connected the rail and everything.
Once it did, yeah.
Yeah.
But telegraph, when did it come on?
When was the telegraph used? 1844, and then but Pony Express was 1860 through 61. But that must have been like they somebody had to make the wires from one end of the coast to the other.
This is paper, which is sometimes absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
As opposed to the
Yeah.
wire.
Yeah. You need documentation.
Documentation, yeah, for signatures and all that stuff. So, yeah.
Anyway, let's move on. Moving on up to 1868, a Hawaiian surfed the highest wave ever, a 50-foot tidal wave. That's a pretty tall wave.
Very tall.
Yeah.
Very tall, but a tidal wave, I don't know.
1882, wood block alarm was invented. When the alarm rang, it dropped 20 wood blocks. All right. Hopefully not on your head. Like clunk, 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 clunk,
How
clunk,
big
clunk,
are the
clunk.
blocks?
Like, it's the alarm that wakes you up and puts you back to sleep forever. 1882 as well, Robert Ford killed Jesse James.
Ooh.
Yeah. 1885, pardon me, Gottlieb Daimler was granted a German patent for a light, high-spec, four-stroke engine, which he used 7 months later to create the world's first motorcycle, the Daimler Reitwagen. So that's cool. So let's take a look at this. Images. The world's very first motorcycle, right there.
Look at that.
And it had a training wheel. But you're just sitting, and it looks like it's just hollow. So it's just like this, like you're on a horse. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the four-stroke engine. 7 months prior.
That's what they copied after a horse, I guess. They hadn't conceived of a seat yet.
I guess so. We also have 1888, the first of 11 unsolved brutal murders of women committed in or near the impoverished Whitechapel district in the east of London occurred. So that sounds like Jack the Ripper.
I don't know I'm not aware of his dates, but
when
was in
did
the 1800s.
Jack the Ripper start? August and November 1888. 1888.
There you go. Okay.
Well, August. That's a couple months from now. But the first of 11 brutal murders of women committed in or near impoverished Whitechapel district in the east end of London. That sounds like Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, sure does.
Anyway, 1893. I don't know why this is here. That's why. First New South Wales versus Queensland FC game at Brisbane Expedition Ground. Okay. 1895, the trial in the libel case brought by Oscar Wilde began, eventually resulting in his imprisonment on charges of homosexuality. Dang. 1910, the highest mountain in North America, Alaska's Mount McKinley, claimed to have been the first climbed by 4 local men.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. 1913, British suffragette Emmeline Pankhurst was sentenced to 3 years in jail for incitement to place an explosive in a building at Walton.
Good grief.
Huh.
Well, I want to back up to the 1910. Have they renamed Mount McKinley?
Alaska's Mount McKinley. Let's check this out here. Denali, also called Mount McKinley. So it's Denali.
It's a dual name, not that it's been changed.
It's pronounced. It's said. It's categorized as Denali on National Geographic Society.
Okay.
So Mount McKinley, it's now its secondary name.
Okay. So at some point because it was Mount McKinley,
Yeah.
known as that, but somewhere in the back of my head I heard it was changed or something. Okay. Anyways, yeah.
1917, Alfred Stieglitz opened the first one-person show of Georgia O'Keeffe's work at 291 Art Gallery in New York. Okay. Also have in 1917 as well, Vladimir Lenin arrived in Petrograd, returning to Russia from exile in Switzerland. New style, April 16th. So, yeah, not a good guy right there, that Lenin. That was after, after he was exiled and everything. Oh, do you want to start a revolution? Like,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, no, Animated History does a good series on the rise of the Soviet Union. So, what else do we have? 1918, U.S. House of Representatives accepted American Creed written by William Tyler. So what is American Creed? Let's check this out here. Is that like a book or a poem or something? Oh, the American's Creed is the title of a resolution passed by the U.S. House of Representatives on April 3rd, 1918. In its statement written in 1917 by William Tyler Page is an entry into patriotic contest that he won. Huh. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Gonna add that into the underbar.
Yeah. American Creed.
Yeah, the American's Creed. American Creed, whichever. 1920, attempts were made to carry out the failed assassination attempt on General Mannerheim, led by Alexander Weckman, by order of Aino Raha, during the White Guard parade in Tampere, Finland. Dang. 1922, Joseph Stalin was appointed General Secretary of the Russian Communist Party by an ailing Vladimir Lenin. So yeah, and he put him there to make sure, because that was a nothing position. Mm-hmm. But he had the power to schedule people.
Yeah.
So he's a tricky.
It ended up a very powerful position.
Yes. So we also have in 1924, Istanbul's Ottoman Topkapi Palace was converted into a into a museum on orders of Mustafa Kemal Atatürk. Huh.
You don't get Turkish history very often.
Yeah, Istanbul's Ottoman Topkapi Palace. Let's take a look at that. Huh. Okay. So it's like a palace. All right. Let's see here. 1925, Great Britain went back to a gold standard. That's good. 1926, second flight of a liquid-fueled rocket by Robert Goddard. Huh. Also have 1927, Interstate Commerce Com transferred Ohio to Eastern Time Zone.
Say that again?
Interstate Commerce Com transferred Ohio to Eastern Time Zone. So it sounds like they used to be part of Central.
They changed the timeline.
Yeah. Yeah, the literal line. Yeah. 1929, RMS Queen Mary was ordered from John Brown and Company Shipbuilding and Engineering by Cunard Line. So the Queen Mary that we have now in the Long Beach. Yeah. 1930, the second Academy Awards, the Broadway melody, Warner Baxter and Mary Pickford won. First time Academy Awards were broadcast on the radio. Huh. 1930 as well, Stanley Cup, Montreal Forum, Montreal, Quebec. Montreal Canadiens defeated Boston Bruins 4-3 for a 2-0 series sweep and their third championship. Huh. We also have in 1933, the first flight over Mount Everest by the British Houston Mount Everest Flight Expedition, led by the Marquis of Clydesdale and funded by Lucy, Lady Houston. So that's cool. Flying over Mount Everest. Yeah. While that was happening as well, 1933, then longest North American hockey game required a 1 hour, 46-minute, 46-second overtime as Maple Leaf Ken Doherty scored to beat Canadians 1-0.
Wow.
Almost 1 3/4 hour of overtime.
Overtime, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
1936, Brunko Richard Hauptmann was executed for the kidnapping and death of Charles Augustus Lindbergh Jr., the baby son of pilot Charles Lindbergh. So they executed him on the stage. 1941, British Prime Minister Winston Churchill warned Soviet leader Joseph Stalin that a German invasion is imminent. Oh, how right he was.
Yeah.
Operation Barbarossa. When was Operation Barbarossa? Operation Barbarossa was June 22nd. So January, February, March, April, May, June. So 2 months. Oh, wow. We also have in 1942, during World War II, Japanese forces began an assault on the United States and Filipino troops on the Bataan Peninsula. 1944, British dive bombers attacked German battleship Tirpitz at Kafjorden, Norway. Tirpitz, that was significant. I believe that was when they caught it in the fjord. I saw a video, I believe, about that ship not too long ago, actually. But But yeah, like it was a very powerful battleship, and it was caught in this fjord, which is a narrow, thing
Yeah.
of water,
Yeah.
you know, with cliffs and everything. Not a good place.
Wonder what it was doing there.
I think it was going to go to some harbor or something that gets like maintenance or dry docked or something. I don't know.
Whatever. Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway, we're going to move on up to 1944 as well. The U.S. Supreme Court, Smith versus Allwright. White primaries were unconstitutional. White primaries. What the hell is that?
Only whites can vote, I guess.
What? White primaries were primary elections held in the southern United States in which only white voters were permitted to participate. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that is unconstitutional.
Yeah.
So, yeah. 1946, Japanese Lieutenant General Masaru Homa was executed in the Philippines for leading the Bataan Death March. I've heard about the Bataan Death March, but let's educate ourselves real quick. And actually, let's get the wiki for that. The Bataan Death March was the forcible transfer by the Imperial Japanese Army of between 75,000 U.S. and Filipino prisoners of war from Shashten Point, Bagak, Bataan, and Mariveles to Camp O'Donnell, Capas, Tarlac via San Fernando, Pampagana. I can't pronounce all that.
Yeah.
But wow. So that's awful.
75,000.
75,000. So, oops. Hold on a second. Not the Maldives. I don't want the Maldives. I want the Wikipedia. There we go. Okay. Bataan Death March. Oh shit. Okay, hold on a second. There we go. Alright. And I screwed up yet again. But the Bataan Death March, exact figures are unknown. Estimates range from 5,500 to 18,650 prisoner of war deaths. They're prisoners of war being transferred.
Japanese were pretty brutal.
Yep. 1948, U.S. President Harry Truman signed the Marshall Plan to rebuild war-torn Western Europe after World War II, granting an initial $5 billion in aid to 16 European countries. Good.
Yeah, that Marshall Plan was just crucial.
Yeah. While that was going on in 1948 as well, in Jeonju Province, South Korea, a civil war-like period of violence and human rights abuses began, known as the Jeonju Uprising. Dang. 1948, U.S. Female Figure Skating Championship was won. Why do we have these figure skating championships? I don't care. Let's get rid of those. Who cares about figure skating, right? 1953.
Go figure.
Yeah. 1953. Actually, yeah. U.S. magazine or American magazine TV Guide published first issue. Hey, the TV Guide.
Yeah.
Cover features photo of Lucille Ball's newborn baby boy, Desiderio Alberto Arnaz IV, later professionally known as Desi Arnaz Jr.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. We also have in 1954, Don Perry climbed a 20-foot rope in under 2.8 seconds, AAU record. Wow, that's quick.
Yeah. Didn't know they even had a record for that.
They have a record for everything.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, remember, they have a record for, like, rolling an egg with your nose across the lawn or something like...
But they don't tell us how long the rope was to climb.
20 foot.
Oh, they did? I missed it.
Climbed a 20-foot rope.
Okay.
Yeah. 1955, the American Civil Liberties Union announced it will defend Allen Ginsberg's book Howl against obscenity charges. Good. 1956, Hudsonville Stendal tornado. The western half of the lower peninsula of Michigan was struck by a deadly F5. Dang. 1956 as well, Bulgarian Vice Premier Transijo Kostov rehabilitated, although he was executed 7 years prior in 1949.
When?
Yeah. Bulgarian Vice Premier Transijo Kostov rehabilitated. They labeled him as rehabilitated
After he's dead?
after his execution.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we do things like that all the time, like weird, like post-death things. Like it took 300 years to canonize Joan of Arc, and we posthumously, award medals to people all the time, during times of conflict and such.
Yeah, but this is kind of different.
Well, For whatever reason, the council wanted to make a record that they believe that this individual has been successfully rehabilitated 7 years after they killed him. So
Probably so they could swallow him better in history.
probably.
Soften up history a bit.
Yeah. 1958, actually 1957, Samuel Beckett's play In-Game premiered in London as a French language production. Oh, so French production in England.
Yeah.
1958, Fidel Castro's rebels attacked Havana.
Yeah.
Huh. 1960.
Backed by us, we might add.
Yep. 1960, Elvis Presley recorded "It Is Now or Never," "Fever," and "Are You Lonesome Tonight" at RCA Studios in Nashville, Tennessee. Huh. 1962, U.S. jockey Eddie Arcaro retired after 31 years, 24,092 races.
Yeah, he was a great racer.
That's a lot of races.
Yeah.
Holy crap. 1964, U.S. and Panama agreed to resume diplomatic relations.
Ah.
Yeah. 1965, the first atomic-powered spacecraft, SNAP, was launched. That's cool. 1966, Soviet Luna 10 completed its first orbit of the moon. 1966, Tom Seaver signed with the Mets for a reported $50,000 bonus. All right.
Yeah, that's just a sign. I get probably out of high school.
Now here's something interesting. 1967, 113 East Europeans attending World Amateur Hockey Championships in Vienna asked for political asylum. So trying to escape from Eastern Europe, it sounds like.
Yeah. I remember something about that.
1 year later, 1968, North Vietnam agreed to meet U.S. representatives to set up preliminary peace talks.
Yeah, I remember that well.
We're going to get back to that here 1 year later, but right now, 1968, Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his I've been to the mountaintop speech. Unfortunately, he was going to be assassinated the next day. So I know what's coming tomorrow. That's not good. 1968, Planet of the Apes starring Charlton Heston and Rodney McDowell premiered nationally in the U.S. A lot of stuff happened in 68.
Yeah.
3 big things right there. But then 1969, going back to this Vietnam thing, United States Secretary of Defense Melvin Laird announced that the U.S. will start to Vietnamize the war effort. This Vietnamization policy will see to less U.S. involvement in the conflict. So we're stepping back. That's good. Moving on up to 1970, as part of a new Get Tough policy, Northern Ireland, Ian Freeland of the British Army warned that those throwing petrol bombs could be shot dead. Well, I mean, if somebody is throwing explosives at me and I had a gun, I'd shoot them. I'm not going to warn them. You're throwing a grenade at me. What do you expect?
Yeah.
That's a little bit of a ridiculous warning there. But this is interesting. 1973 as well. We got the first mobile phone call was made in downtown Manhattan, New York City by Motorola employee Martin Cooper to the Bell Labs headquarters in New Jersey to Joel S. Engel.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. First mobile phone.
Yeah, first...
big ass. Remember those things?
The
first
brick,
ones?
yeah.
Yeah.
1974, the 1974 super outbreak occurred, the second biggest tornado outbreak in recorded history after the 2011 super outbreak. The death toll is 315, with nearly 5,500 injured. Damn.
And I believe the chant was global cooling. That's what it originally started when they flipped to global warming. Oh, you lost me. Now you're changing your mind.
Oh, right here we have more stats on it. 24-hour period with 148 confirmed tornadoes in 13 states, killing approximately 315 people and injuring nearly 5,500. Damn.
Wow.
While that was happening, in 1974 as well, gold hit a record $197 an ounce in Paris. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
1975, Bobby Fischer stripped of world chess title for refusing to defend it. Title awarded to Russian Anthony Karpov. All right. So he didn't want to defend his title.
Back in the day with gold, we went along really quick. Gold in the U.S. was pegged at $36 an ounce for years, never changed. That's what the government priced it at.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't alive.
You weren't born. That was way back.
I remember reading about that. Like it was a stagnant,
That's it. And you couldn't own it, other than jewelry, things like that.
Yeah. Maybe we should go back to something like that, because it's more concrete. Like, yeah, unfortunately, it gives power to the government, but what doesn't give power to the government?
But you can't just lock a price in on something and say, this is what it's going to be for the next how many ever years. We're never going to change it. It's not realistic.
True, because
a loaf of bread doesn't stay the same.
Well, you can make loaves of bread. There's only a finite amount of gold. There's only X amount.
That we know of.
Yes.
There could be tons more other places we haven't discovered yet.
Well, when we find that, then we will make the necessary adjustments. Until then, we got to have a stabilized income or a stabilized economy. Because, like, what we have now, everything, it's going to collapse. It's not good.
It's got to fluctuate. As the dollar devalues, gold's got to go up.
But we got to have the dollar. What I'm saying is we got to have it based off of something. The dollar's just based off of itself.
Yeah, I'm saying gold though.
We got to have it based off of gold. We got to have.
You're saying go back on the gold standard.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Anyway, 1975, Bobby Fischer refused to play. Oh yeah, we already read that. 1975, during the Vietnam War, Operation Baby Lifts, a mass evacuation of children in the closing stages of the war began. So they're pulling all the kids out. 1976, France performed a nuclear test at Muir Atoll. So yeah, like people don't realize that France, they have done nuclear tests. They have set off nuclear weapons for research purposes, not for war. But yeah, so is the UK, Australia, I think maybe, I'm not sure. No, it's not Australia. Although the UK did test on Australia's soil. Anyway, 1976 as well, Philadelphia Flyers won record-tying 20th straight NHL home game.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a lot of games.
1977, Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg adopt summertime. All right.
I don't know what that means, but...
like summertime, like I guess like a daylight saving time.
I guess.
Let's look this up here real quick. See if this yields anything. Let's see here. Daylight saving time by country. So I guess it's their version of summertime. Their daylight saving time.
Okay.
All right. Do I have the death march in here? Yes, I do. All right. Well, damn it, I keep screwing up. Anyway, let's move on up. 1977, Egyptian President Anwar Sadat's first meeting with U.S. President Jimmy Carter. Huh. 1978, 50th Academy Awards. Annie Hall, Richard Dreyfuss, and Diane Keaton win. Okay. While that was going on, 1978 as well, European market and China signed a trade agreement. That's a little bit more significant.
Yeah, just a bit.
Yeah. And it's in this article, it's in this source as well. It's right there. So, we also have in 1978, Larry King moved his radio show from Miami, Florida to Washington, D.C. All right. We also have in 1979, Jane M. Byron, the Democrat, elected first woman mayor of Chicago, Illinois. All right.
First woman mayor of Chicago. Okay.
All right. In 1980, France performed a nuclear test again. And while that was happening, we performed a nuclear test in the Nevada test site. 1980 as well, U.S. Congress restored a federal trust relationship with the 501 members of the Shivwits, Kanosh, Kusharam, and the Indian Peaks and Cedar City bands of the Paiute people of Utah.
Wow.
Cool.
Okay.
1981, the Osborne one, the first successful portable computer, was unveiled at the West Coast Computer Fair in San Francisco. And that reminds me, like, I think I told you I saw that the movie about Tetris.
You didn't mention it, no.
Like, well, they made a movie about Tetris, like the actual, like, how the guy went around and got licensing and everything.
Oh, I saw that. The guy from Russia?
Yeah, well, he went to Russia, because Tetris was invented in Russia.
Yeah. But how the guy got it out?
Yeah, well, yeah, it talked about how the guy got it out, but it also talked about corporate involvement, how other companies, like I think it was Sony or Sega, somebody had rights to it for in Japan or whatever, but not handheld or something. And there's one scene where they went in and he's talking with Nintendo, and he's like really getting in, like rubbing shoulders with them. And then he had to sign an NDA and there was this thing covered up. And by the way, anybody who please watch the movie. Spoiler alert here. Yeah, non-disclosure agreement. There's this thing under a cloth. He's like, why do I have to sign this? Like, because you're going to be the 5th person in the world to see this. And he unveiled it. It was the Game Boy. Yeah.
Well, see, originally, and what the difficulty was, in Russia, you couldn't own anything.
Yeah.
So the government owned it.
Yeah.
So it was years until whatever that is, there is a time limit of some sort.
Well, no,
He finally made a lot of money off it, but initially he didn't make it down.
No. See, here's what happened. He went in there.
And to get it out of the country was tough.
No. The guy from our country. It's not about the. It does talk about the guy who made it. We do look at about but it's more about the corporate, the licensing, the legal, all that
later.
stuff.
It's not the original development of it.
No, not the original development, but it gets into that and all that stuff. But he goes to Russia, and then the movie happens and everything. They're threatening him with gulag and all that stuff. There's really a lot of tensions, but then they realize that people have licenses without the Soviet Union's consent to sell this game all over the world, and it's making millions of dollars, and Russia's not seeing any penny of that. So that's what the movie's portraying, that as being one of the pushers towards communism, allowing capitalism in, and the fall of the Soviet Union, because it also mentions when Gorbachev resigned in the movie.
Okay.
But Gorbachev is actually in the movie too. He meets Gorbachev.
Oh, okay.
So it's a crazy, awesome movie. But let's get back on track here, man. I'm all excited. I want to watch that movie again, like right now. But I also have in 1981, Arnie Bolt of Saskatchewan jumps 6 feet, 8.25 inches, with one leg.
Whoa. How does he do that?
He had squats. That's be one hell of a leg right there. We also have 1982, 136 Grand National. 48-year-old Dick Saunders won aboard 7-1 favorite Gritter, oldest jockey to win the event. At 48, cool. 1982, UN Secretary Council demanded Argentina withdraw from the Falkland Islands.
Oh, there we go.
1983, Nabisco Dina. You know what? This is golf. I don't care, so I'm just going to scroll past that. 1985, French government adopted equal electoral system. All right. 1985 as well, Vic Elliott pocketed 15,780 pool balls in 24 hours in London.
Like you said, there's a record for everything.
Yep. 1 year later, in 1986, the U.S. national debt hit $2 trillion.
Now
billion, trillion.
That's just a hiccup.
Yeah. 1987, Duchess of Windsor's jewels were auctioned for £31,380,197. That's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pounds.
I wish I could remember the number of what each individual U.S. citizen owes on our $31 trillion debt, but it's an astronomical number for each individual person.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
We're going to move on up to 1988. Somalia and Ethiopia signed an accord about Ogaden Desert. 1989, the U.S. Supreme Court upheld the jurisdictional rights of tribal courts under the Indian Child Welfare Act of 1978 in Mississippi Shoshaw Band versus Holyfield. Jurisdictional rights, yeah. I agree. They should have, their own, well, to certain degrees, laws and all that stuff. So, pardon me. 1993, the Grand National Horse Race was declared void for the first time, and only so far time. Only so far only time, and so far only time. I can't read. It was declared void for the first and so far only time. So,
it's kind of written weird.
Yeah. Well, I wrote it weird for some reason. After 30 of 39 runners carried on racing despite a false start, bookmakers were forced to refund an estimated £75 million in bets staked.
Whoops,
wow!
Whoops.
Well, that explains
That
why
hurt.
it's the only time. Yikes! 1994, first roster of Silver Bullets, all-female pro baseball team was announced. Okay. 1995, Howard Stern got in trouble for disparaging remarks about Selena Gomez or something. Oh.
Don't know.
I don't know. And hey, by the way, good news for you. Unless there's another person on the show, we're skipping cricket.
Hey.
1996, a United States Air Force Boeing T-43 crashed near Dubrovnik Airport in Croatia, killing 35, including the Secretary of Commerce, Ron Brown.
Ooh.
So I guess that's our Secretary of Commerce. 1996 as well, suspected Unabomber Theodore Kaczynski was captured at his Montana cabin in the U.S.
We only know him as Ted Kaczynski.
Yep. 1997, the Thait massacre began in Algeria. All but one of the 53 inhabitants of Thait were killed by guerrillas.
Jeez.
Oh, man. Massacre. 2000, U.S. versus Microsoft Corp. Microsoft was ruled to have violated United States antitrust law by keeping an oppressive thumb on its competitors.
Yeah, they were known for that.
Yeah, and look at them now. They're even worse. 2004, Islamic terrorists involved in the 2004 Madrid train bombings were trapped by the police in their apartment and killed themselves. Alright. Good. Bye-bye. 2007, Rolling Stones guitarist Keith Richards denied saying he smoked his father's ashes in an interview with NME. How can you even smoke ashes? That doesn't make any sense.
It's really not ashes.
Yeah.
It's really granular. I don't even know if you can light it up.
Well, no, like it is ashes.
Yeah, well, it's the remains.
Yeah.
But it's not like an ash like we think of.
It's more or less the same things, what it's made of.
Yeah.
Like ash is the byproduct of the combustion.
Okay.
Yeah. So, 2007, a conventional train world speed record, a French TGV train on the LGV EST high-speed line set an official new world speed record. What was it? Let's see here. Oops. Why do I keep screwing up? All right, there we go. At 574.8 kilometers an hour, or 357.2 miles per hour. That's pretty fast.
Yeah.
So, dang. We also have in 2008, ATA Airlines, once one of the 10 largest U.S. passenger airlines and largest charter airline, filed for bankruptcy for the second time in 5 years and ceased all operations.
Jeez.
2008 as well, Texas law enforcement cordoned off the FLD's YFZ ranch. Eventually, 533 women and children would be taken into state custody. What? Why?
What the heck is that? I don't know.
Is that some kind of like cult or something?
Sounds like it, but I've never heard of it.
YFZ Ranch. Yearning for Zion Ranch. Yep, cult. Yep. Alright, that answers that question. So let's add that wiki into the underbar right there. Let's see here. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Do I have that link in here? Yes, I do. Alright, get rid of this. Let's move on up here. What does this say? 2008, Mariah Carey overtook Elvis Presley's record of 17 number one U.S. hits with her 18th Touch My Body. Only the Beatles had more with 20. Wow.
Wow, she's up there in a pretty elite class.
I wouldn't call it elite with a song with that name, Touch My Body, really. Like, dude, have some dignity, lady. Jesus. 2009, Jiverly Antares Wong opened fire at the American Civic Association Immigration Center in Binghamton, New York, killing 13 and wounding 4 before committing suicide. Dang. So a mass shooter. 2009, Australia formally adopted the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. So for the, what are they? The Aborigines.
Yeah, there you go. I couldn't think of it either.
2010, Matt Smith's first appearance as the 11th Doctor in BBC program Doctor Who during the 11th Hour episode. Alright. So Matt Smith, Doctor Who. Which one was this again? Was he the War Doctor? Matt Smith. Let's see here. Oh no, this guy. Okay. I remember him then. Going to move on up to 2010 as well. Apple Inc. released the first generation iPad, a tablet computer. Birthday of the iPad.
Yeah.
2012, Spanish unemployment reaches a record high. Youth unemployment standing at 50%.
Yes, how horrible.
That's insane. 2013, more than 50 people died in floods resulting from record-breaking rainfall in La Plata and Buenos Aires, Argentina. Ay, ay, ay. 2016, Panama Papers were published. 11.5 million confidential documents from offshore law firm Mossack Fonseca exposed widespread illegal activities including fraud, kleptocracy, tax evasion, and the violation of international sanctions by the world's elite in the world's largest ever data leak. In total, it revealed information on 214,488 offshore companies.
Ooh.
Holy God. And nothing happened.
No. There's never any consequences, it seems like.
Bullshit. Hate that. 2017, a bomb exploded in the St. Petersburg metro system, killing 14 and injuring several more people. That sucks. 2019, ex-Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak went on trial for the 1MDB corruption scandal in Kuala Lumpur, pled not guilty. Of course he does. 2018, the YouTube headquarters shooting. It's already been 5 years. A 38-year-old gunwoman opened fire at YouTube headquarters in San Bruno, California, injuring 3 people before committing suicide. So, and she did it because she felt like she was being suppressed or something, and she wanted to get famous on YouTube, and she wasn't growing fast enough, so she snapped. I don't know the actual story. Don't quote me on that, but that's what I've heard. But 2019, Brunei brought into force new Sharia law punishing gay sex and adultery with death by stoning, prompting widespread condemnation. Jesus, that's still happening in today's world? Wow. And in 2022, the Taliban government banned the cultivation of opium in Afghanistan, with consequences for world supply as it produces 80%. And that's why we were at war in Afghanistan, for gold, oil, and drugs. The poppy fields for opium. In Afghanistan. That's why. It wasn't for terrorists. No, it was money. We also have in 2022, Pakistan plunged into constitutional crisis after Prime Minister Imran Khan dissolved parliament and called for new elections, avoiding a no-confidence vote. Dang.
Why does that say sports history above it?
He's a cricketer as well.
Oh, God.
So he's a Prime Minister of Pakistan and he's a cricketer. Okay. Huh. Anyway, before we move on to births and deaths, audience, were there any articles that grabbed your attention more than most? Anything you wish we had elaborated more about? Anything you would have liked to add had you been here? Start a dialogue down in the comments section. Who's Isaac F? WTF? Alright. Well, hello. Welcome to the show, Isaac F. Anyway, starting us off in 1016, we have Xingzong, was a Chinese emperor. Okay. Does he have that sing song about him? So.
A little zing in his song.
Yeah. We also have in 1367, Henry IV of England, King of England and Lord of Ireland, 1399 through 1413, born in Bolingbroke Castle, Lancashire, England. All right. 1395, George of Trebizond, Greek philosopher, scholar, and humanist, died in 1846. 1693, George Edwards, English naturalist and ornithologist, father of British ornithology, which is the study of birds, born in Stratford, Essex, England. Well, thank you.
I'm glad you knew that was the study of birds.
Yep. We also have Washington Irving in 1783, actually not yet quite there. We're going to take John Hanson, 1715, was a continental congressman, the first U.S. president under the Articles of Confederation, born in Maryland. This was before the country became the country.
Yeah.
So, but when we were we still need a leader.
Yeah.
So George Washington was the first president of the United States, but he wasn't the president of the nation that formed after the Revolution. There was a series of things that happened, but we still needed government. We still needed. It wasn't anarchy for 10 years.
Right.
So.
Right.
Yeah. So happy birthday, first president. We also have in 1715 as well, William Watson, English physician, physicist, and botanist. All right. 1770, Theodoros Kotronis, Greek general and leader of the Greek War of Independence from 1821 to 29, born in Ramovuni, Messenia, Ottoman Empire. Leader of the revolution.
Yeah.
1783, actually not there yet, hold on. 1778, Pierre Bretagne, French doctor who performed the first successful tracheotomy.
Oh, 1778? Are
Yep.
you kidding me? Did a trach?
Dang.
Wow.
Yeah. Now
Successful, we might add.
Yes, first successful one. 1781, we have Swam in Iran, Indian religious leader, Swami Narayan, or something like that. I don't know. That's a residual from back in the day. We used to throw in the hard words and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Have fun, in weird ways. Then now we get 1783. We have Washington Irving, a U.S. short story writer, essayist, biographer, and historian. Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
Oh, is that the guy?
Yep. We also have in 1791, Anne Lister, English diarist, the first modern lesbian, mountaineer, and traveler, born in Halifax, England.
Okay.
All right. We have Charles Wicks, 1798, born on this date, a U.S. admiral or an American admiral, geographer, and explorer. We also have Edward Everett Hale, 1822, a U.S. minister, historian, author.
Hale.
Oh, Hale, no. 1823, Boss Tweed, a U.S. politician and corrupt New York fraudster, born in New York City, New York. He's a fraudster. Thomas Balta in 1876 was a Czech businessman who founded Bata Shoes. All right?
What shoes?
Bata Shoes.
Never heard of it.
Let's see here.
Don't need to either.
Let's see if they're still around. Yeah, they are. Bata Shoes. Footwear retail company. Yeah, they're still around. Founded in
Women,
1894.
men, and kids.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
Let's see here. This guy, then we also have who's next on this list. Okay, so that's a while. 1885, we have Joseph Aloysius Allen Dwan, Canadian U.S. screenwriter and film director, Robin Hood, Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm, Sands of Iwo Jima.
Ooh.
Born in Toronto, Ontario. All right. 1888, Thomas C. Kincaid, U.S. Admiral. That name is in my head for some reason, so I put that in here. We also have Henry Luce, 1898, a U.S. publisher who co-founded Time Magazine. Yeah. Albert Walsh, in 1900, Canadian lawyer and politician who was the first lieutenant governor of Newfoundland. All right. 1903, Kamaladevi Chattopadhyay, Chattanooga, Indian social reformer and freedom fighter. Then we have 1905, Robert Sink was a U.S. general. Yeah. Better than being an admiral with a name like that. That's not a good sign.
Yeah, not a good thing at all to be called Sink.
Yeah. We also have 1910, Homesick James Williamson, a U.S. blues slide guitarist and singer, Elmore James Band, 1955 through 62, born in Somerville, Tennessee. Date of birth variously reported as 1905, 1910, 1914. The surname is also disputed. So.
Not familiar with him. I love some of that. I love that old blues music. Man, they have such soul in that stuff. It's really great.
We also have 1922, Doris Day, a U.S. singer, animal welfare activist, and actress known as the Girl Next Door actress. Pillow Talk, the man who knew too much, born in Cincinnati, Ohio. We also have Marlon Brando, 1924, a U.S. actor, the godfather of Streetcar Named Desire, On the Waterfront, to name a few, born in Omaha, Nebraska.
Yeah.
And he died in 2004. Rest in peace. 1926, Virgil Ivan Gus Grissom, U.S. Air Force colonel, test pilot, and NASA astronaut. Mercury 1, or Mercury, Redstone 4, Gemini 3, and Apollo 1. Born in Mitchell, Indiana, and he died in 1967. I believe he burnt up in Apollo 1. Apollo 1 disaster. Let's see here. Yep, Gus Grissom. Edward H. White II and Roger V. Chaffee. May you rest in peace.
Yeah.
We also have in 1927 Wesley Brown, the first black U.S. Naval Academy graduate, born in Baltimore, Maryland. Cool. 1928, Earl Lloyd, first black U.S. basketball player in the NBA.
I love that. Look at that.
Yeah.
Earl Lloyd.
I gotta add that in right now. Actually, I'll add that in later. I'll add that in right now. Earl Lloyd, 1928. All right. I'll just save that there. 1929, we have Fazlur Rahman Khan. Khan! Bangladeshi U.S. structural engineer and architect. Sears, the Willis Tower in Chicago. The John Hancock Center in Chicago. The Metrodome in Minneapolis. Born in Dhaka, British India, which is now Bangladesh. All right. 1930. Nope, I thought that was the guy of Coles. So, no, he's a politician. 1934. Jane Goodall. British primatologist, anthropologist, and writer. Through a Window, My 30 Years with the Chimpanzees of Gombe. Born in Hampstead, London, England.
That's
oh,
where
wow.
I heard of her from the
34.
the chimpanzees. Yeah, I'm trying to remember the name's familiar, but that's where it's got to be coming from.
Yeah. We also have Petunia Pig, 1937. Warner Brothers cartoon character created by Frank Tashlin, Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies series. First debuted in Porky's Romance. We have 1941 Carl Bonish, the U.S. father of base jumping, which stands for Bridge, Air, Span, and Earth. Born in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. And that's when you just jump off of things, parachute.
Yeah.
1941, Jan Berry, a U.S. rock and roll vocalist. Jan and Dean, Surf City.
Oh.
Born in Los Angeles, California. 1942, Herbie Green, a U.S. photographer best known for his portraits for rock and roll luminaries, the Grateful Dead. Born in Indio, California. So like luminaries, I believe that's for the cover art.
Yeah.
Or the album art or whatever.
So.
Wayne Newton, 1942. U.S. singer and entertainer. Daddy, Don't You Walk So Fast, Donkashane. Born in Norfolk, Virginia. And he was in Vegas Vacation.
Yes, he was.
He wounded the wife. We got 1943, Hikaru Saiki, Japanese admiral who was the first female star officer of the Japan Self-Defense Forces. All right. 1950, we have Indrajit Kumaraswamy, Sri Lankan cricketer and economist.
Cricketer,
yeah. 1951, Annette Dolphin. Does she net a dolphin? British academician, an educator. Well, that's a weird word. Academician. I'm pronouncing that wrong. Anyway, 1958, we have Alec Baldwin, a U.S. actor, comedian, a producer, television host, and murderer. So
they put that in there?
No, I did.
Oh, okay.
Oh, of course they wouldn't.
God, wow.
Yeah, no. It just says here he's in Knots Landing, Beetlejuice. He was in Beetlejuice. Glenn Ross, Saturday Night Live, and of course 30 Rock. The last two I know. I have to see Glenn Ross. I didn't know he was in that too. But then we have 1961, Eddie Murphy.
Oh.
62 today, a U.S. comedian and actor, Saturday Night Live from 1980 through 84. 48 Hours, Beverly Hills Cop, Raw, Pluto Nash. I believe he was the voice of Donkey in Shrek.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. Born in Brooklyn, New York. Let's have 1971 as well, Peekaboo Street, a U.S. skier. Peekaboo. Peekaboo. Oh. 1973, Adam Scott, a U.S. actor in Parks and Recreation, born in Santa Cruz, California. 1980, Trevor Moore, U.S. actor and comedian, the whitest kids you know, born in Montclair, New Jersey, and he passed away a few years ago, unfortunately, in a tragic accident. Fell off his second floor balcony onto his head. Didn't make it. We also have Amanda Bynes in 1986, U.S. actress, The Amanda Show. Remember her?
No, I don't.
From Nickelodeon.
Oh.
Yeah. Born in Thousand Oaks, California. Let's see here. And we kind of skipped over a couple people, so let me see. Okay, I don't know who that is. All right. Then we also have 1998, Paris Jackson, U.S. actress, model, singer, and daughter of Michael Jackson, born in Los Angeles, California. All right. Deaths. In the year 33, we have Jesus Christ. Died of crucifixion, according to the astronomer and Humphreys in Waddington. So, and he was born in year, 0? Or year 1? I don't know.
But, Easter is this Sunday, so.
Yep. We also have 963, William III, the Duke of Aquitaine. Okay, I don't know why that's in here. 1153, we have Al-Adil ibn al-Salar, vizier of the Fatimid Caliphate. 1171, Philip of Millie, the 7th Grand Master of the Knights Templar. 1680, Shivaji Bhonsle, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaja, Indian warrior and founder of the Maratha Empire, died of a fever and dysentery around the age of 52. So founder of the Maratha Empire, that's big. 1691, Jean Petiot, Swiss enamel painter. What's an enamel painter? You paint enamel? Okay. Paint with enamel, I guess. But isn't enamel what's on your teeth?
Yeah, enamel's very hard.
Huh.
It's you put stones or color or everything, but enamel's very hard. So I don't quite understand that.
Huh. Anyway, we also have 1804, Jerzy Krzyżowicz, Polish priest, historian, and author. 1827, Ernst Chladni, German physicist, Chandler's law, estimating the speed of sound. Instrument inventor, earphone, cylinder, and musician, died at the age of 70. What is those?
I have no idea.
Earphone. Okay, that's a drug. Earphone instruments. Okay, that. So the euphonium. What is the cylinder?
I don't know.
I have no clue. Oh, that. Okay. So like some kind of piano type thing. All right. We also have Edward Brigg, died on this date in 1844. Was an English cleric who was the first archaeologist of Life Linden's farm. All right. Jesse James, 1882, U.S. criminal, hero, and outlaw. Criminal in quotation marks by law, but I believe he did a lot of good things. So for people. Also have Arthur Graham West, 1917, British writer and war poet. The Diary of a Dead Officer Killed by a Sniper at around the age of 25. So he was, war correspondence back then. Somebody had to write it.
Yeah.
Somebody had to take the photos.
Yeah.
Wait, who is this? Okay, we're past that. Novelist. You don't care about him. Okay, 1936. Bruno Hauptmann, German kidnapper of Charles Augustus Lindenberg III, executed at 36. We spoke about that earlier today in the main body.
Yep.
1946, Masaru Homa, Japanese lieutenant general responsible for the Bataan Death March in the Philippines, executed by firing squad for war crimes at 58. We spoke about that before as well. 1950, Carter G. Woodson, U.S. historian, author, and journalist who founded Black History Month. So, on the shortest month of the year. Yeah, great. 1971, Joseph Alici, U.S. gangster. Apparently he looks like Joey Diaz. So let's take a look at this. Joseph Alici. Holy shit, he does. A little bit. Joey Diaz. Like a younger Joey Diaz.
Yeah.
So, and a thinner one. Very thinner.
Yeah.
We have Juan Tripp, was a U.S. airline pioneer and entrepreneur, Pan Am founder, died at 81.
Pan Am founder, huh?
Yeah, founder of Pan American.
Yeah.
Warren Oates, 1982, was an actor. And Pinky Lee, 93, U.S. television host. Frank G. Wells, a U.S. company director, Walt Disney Company, died in a helicopter crash at 62.
Ooh, that's not good.
No. Jérôme Lejeune, a French geneticist, discovered the chromosome responsible for Down syndrome, died at the age of 67. Wow.
That's major.
Yeah. 1995, Alfred J. Bills, Canadian businessman who co-founded Canadian Tire. So,
Okay.
you know them. Eugene Thierry Blanchet, 2010, South African white supremacist and leader of the far-right Afrikaner Weerstandsbeweging, beaten to death over alleged political and racist motivations at 69. I'm surprised it took that long. So, beaten to death. Damn. 2014, Arthur Guitar Boogie Smith, U.S. guitarist, fiddler, and composer.
I love that.
I put that in
Love
because
that name.
maybe you might know. Like, I'm not sure.
I don't, but
Guitar Boogie Woogie.
yeah.
Eric Bowersfeld, 2016, U.S. voice actor for Admiral Akbar in Star Wars. It's a trap.
Yeah.
Died at 93. So. Joe Medicine Crow, 2016, a Native American anthropologist, historian, and author. 2018, Nassim Najafi Agham, a psychopath who did the YouTube HQ shooting. So that was the one who did the YouTube shooting we talked about earlier today.
Oh, okay.
So, and then we have David Ingerton, 2018, a U.S. entrepreneur and founder of Burger King, died of complications of surgery at the age of 90.
Jeez,
Dang.
Burger King guy.
Yep. And that shall conclude the show. Once again, you can check the underbar of the description for any links you may find interesting, including but not limited to all things OMNI Coalition. For your dose of past events daily, we stream every day at 10 in the morning Pacific Time, which is 11 Mountain, 12 Central, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For all of you and all of us, I am A.O. Xander.
Golden Loon.
And you are you. And until you catch us tomorrow, today is Monday. Until you catch us tomorrow, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe.